milk first, cereal first. You know, we got a whole bunch of...
If you are going to say milk first, we're ending this episode.
We're just...
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Misfit Podcast.
Oh, hey. It's your boys.
Yeah, and today is going to be the long-awaited podcast episode for Matt.
Where we talk about anime.
Well, actually, we'll be talking about food. But we're going to talk about anime first, because when this episode goes up, it'll be the end of the month. Actually, it's been pretty much
last day.
As we're recording, it's actually pretty much the end of the month. When it comes out, it will be the end of the month.
The literal last day of the month of January.
So if you've been following along to the Nerdy Misfit Podcast as the start of January, Matt and I will be doing a monthly watch of an anime, and we're just going to give our what we think about it, if we recommend it. It's also something that the community can get involved in if you guys want to join us and watch what we're watching for the month and give your 2 cents as well. We would love that. We have a link down below in our link tree to our Discord where you can join in the conversation and potentially maybe we watch some eps together. Who knows? But this month we watched Bocchi the Rock. And if you watched our episode breaking down the Crunchyroll Awards, you would know that we gave it a couple awards from us. And I spoke highly of it, but tried my best not to spoil anything for this specific segment. So if you've not seen it and you're interested in seeing it, I would recommend skipping probably about 5-10 minutes ahead.
Exactly.
There will be spoilers. So with that said, what'd you think of Bocchi the Rock?
What did I think of Bocchi the Rock? Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I think I didn't go in with high expectations because it was like I didn't know anything about it going in other than the intro.
When I first looked at it, it kind of reminded me of K-On!
Okay.
And it is much better than K-On!
Fair.
I find K-On! To be a bit boring. I didn't find myself really ever bored with Bocchi the Rock.
I would agree with that. I think when I watched the beginning of the first episode, it kind of gave me like Comey Can't Communicate vibes.
Yeah, a little,
like just a little bit.
A little bit. Obviously, they have similar issues. One a little bit more extreme, obviously.
Yeah, but overall, the story was actually pretty solid. It had obviously cliche, predictable story points.
Well, the whole concept is obviously. I mean, it's like saying Naruto's predictable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, obviously, he's going to become the Hokage. Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
So, if you don't know, the main character, we'll just reference her as Bocchi here because that's her nickname.
Yeah,
has some pretty extreme social anxiety, but she loves playing guitar, and she wants to be in a band, but she is incapable. I feel like that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Is incapable of going to ask people to be in a band, socialize with anyone, perform in front of anyone. She runs a YouTube that's just her. So that's how she kind of expresses herself creatively. But she has goals, but she can't really do it without other people. And that's the issue. And I found, so obviously, like Matt's saying, predictable-wise is obviously there's going to be someone that shows up that maybe convinces her to join, and it's something that she wants, and then works towards slowly breaking down her barriers, if you will. Which, by the end of the season, she's definitely made some big steps, but in no way is it just over.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Because over this, it's been 6 or 7 months, something like that.
Yeah, because there's a whole episode about summer break and everything.
Yeah, it's been over a good course of time, and although she's made progress, it's not, which I feel like is very realistic to how someone dealing with social anxiety would be. I found it very relatable as someone who's gone through and has different forms of... definitely not to the extreme of Bocchi, but I definitely... I have a very close-knit group of friends. I don't have like a massive network of friends.
Yeah.
I also, have to really build myself up to go out with people. As a kid, like younger, like in elementary school, I would get sick if I was too anxious. Like in one of the episodes, Bocchi the Rock literally says, my stomach acid is going into overload because of how anxious she's getting. And I used to take like drugs for that exact issue of the stomach acid buildup, which caused me to like feel really sick. So I could relate to a lot of the stuff. The not wanting to go up to talk to someone and letting someone else talk to them. Like, that's all very relatable things. Obviously, for a lot of people, the idea of a social battery in general, everyone has a different limit of how their social battery works. You know, some people, it takes a lot. They go out an hour and that's what they got.
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta take what you can get. And some people just have bigger social batteries, which we see within the show with other characters that are almost on the complete opposite spectrum, which bring a lot of humor to the series as well, because the way Bocchi's inner monologues go whenever she sees one of her new friends be social in any way that she would want to be, but just can't. So I found the character extremely relatable and done very well to how almost like not obviously in an anime way, because we see, oh, she's turning to dust or she turns into a puddle, but that's how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of like metaphorical aspects to this show. And then even when they break the animation wall and show different types of animation, and there's even like real live action aspects of it too.
Real art. There's real video footage.
There's CGI. There's a little bit of everything.
There was one scene where it was like the really raw CGI that they have her like hit a bunch of trees like a bowling ball. Yeah. It was a very creative, artistic choice to bring in all of that different styles of art and media whenever Bocchi is like thinking outside of the main world.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think also too, just like overall the story, yes, there was some cliche moments, but they did it in a way that it was fully relatable, more than I've seen the same cliches in other animes or stories, etc. I mean, obviously we watched it subbed, but all the voice acting was great. The intro was pretty banger too. Like even how they tied it in with the last episode, I thought was really neat.
Yep.
The character development was good.
All the OST was good.
Yeah.
Solid.
Like overall, like definitely, I'd say a solid.
Pretty well. All the characters were great.
Like,
I think the only character that I wasn't the biggest fan of was Ryu or whatever her name is.
Okay.
The blue-haired one.
Yeah.
Like she had some funny moments, obviously, like taking people's money and not paying them back.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the sister that owns the club.
Yeah, the blonde.
Yeah. I thought that she was like, even though she doesn't say a lot, she definitely recognizes what's going on with Bocchi without her having to really say much. Like the summer break episode, she manages to kind of get Bocchi to open up, and then she goes to the band and is like, "Did any of you ask Bocchi to do anything this summer?" And they're all like, "I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to. I thought you." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, we didn't invite her."
We're terrible friends. I think also too, it also kind of shows a part of the music industry as well, of like bands that are trying to start, like from high school aspect, really just bands trying to get their first gig.
Yeah, and the grind,
like, the grind. Really.
If you can book a spot, but if you don't get the ticket sales, you're paying out of your own pocket. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who
100%
know they're not going to hit those tickets. They're just trying to get people to see them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. And then we saw a character from an indie band, which maybe didn't set the best example of how to deal with your own stresses.
No.
A little bit of a heavy on the drinking there.
The drinking aspect of it, that's for sure.
But yeah, I agree. I gave it a 9. I thought obviously the art style was good. The artistic choices of when to break that, I'm going to call it break the fourth wall of animation.
Yeah.
I thought that was really clever, and it fit. It worked. It worked really well. It didn't feel forced. It was kind of like, you're like, this makes sense based on how the character's feeling.
Yeah.
Obviously, the OST was really solid with both the original songs for the characters as well as just the regular OST. And I enjoyed it. Wasn't bored while watching it. Characters were solid.
Honestly, I could see why it's up for Anime of the Year.
Yeah, that's.
I think that's the easiest way to describe it. Like it's well deserved to be in that spot, I think.
And it hits a topic that isn't as fun.
Yeah.
A lot of time you'll watch an anime. I'm not saying all anime are like, but a lot of people enjoy watching anime that's like action or fun. super pump up. And there were moments that pumped you up here, but there are also very real moments that you yourself might have felt at times during your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was very beautiful.
I think it was really well done.
And the comedic timing in a lot of the jokes was really solid.
Mm-hmm.
Which
nothing felt forced, I don't think.
Speaking
I
of forced and comedic timing, when we talk about the what ifs, the Marvel what ifs season 2, I'll get into that
for next week's episode. Maybe.
Because wow, that is how you don't do natural humor, by the way.
Yeah, I can go off about what if, but we'll save that for another episode.
We'll save that for the next step. But yeah, so overall, I would say we recommend the series pretty handedly. With that being said, we are going to pick our next show, which we just thought may as well keep up some of the shows we weren't able to see from the Crunchyroll Awards. And we're going to go with Heavenly Delusion. I believe the Japanese title is Tengoku Daimaku or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's on Disney Plus if you're interested in watching with us and have a Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah, Tengoku Daimaku.
Yeah.
Daimaku.
So if you're interested in watching with us, that's what we'll be watching next. It's 13 episodes. And February's a short month, so, got to get that grinding quick.
But it's a leap year, so we get that extra day.
Oh, wow. Matt's going to need that extra day.
No, I won't. I'll be fine.
So, yeah, we'll drop it in the Discord, the new show we're watching. And if you guys want to watch along and comment as you go, then feel free to do so. And then we'll, with that being said, let's jump into this episode.
Boom. 12 minutes later. But that's actually not bad for talking about brief anime.
No, yeah,
not
for
bad
sure.
At all.
We don't want it to be a full app.
Should we rank these animes that we watch throughout the year at the end of the year?
Yeah, you can make a note of what we've watched so far.
I think that'd be...
The main thing that's fun about it is we're not only going to watch new shows necessarily from this year.
It's just a lot of everything, yeah.
But yeah, so Matt's been waiting for this episode for a while. He's every week. What are we going to talk about? Do you want to talk about food? So either he comes to my house hungry all the time, or the man just really wants to talk about food.
What is both? I'm always hungry, dude.
So if you have not followed the podcast, we have one episode just randomly in the midst of our almost 100 episodes.
Yeah, it's called episode 48. I think the episode is literally called Not Our Usual Podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a spiritual sequel to Not Your Average Podcast Part 2.
And since this time we knew what we were going to talk about, and that one we were just bouncing off the walls, not knowing what we were going to talk about.
I think that's why I enjoyed that episode so much, though.
I'm not saying we're trapped, but we're trapped within an initial title, which is breakfast.
Exactly. Breakfast foods?
If it doesn't go long enough, maybe we bring in lunch.
Oh, it will go long enough. Don't you worry.
So I'm thinking, we can have a discussion about obviously some of the big verses. And you think of breakfast in general, we have like pancakes versus waffles. That one's a big one.
Yeah.
But obviously we have lots of egg dishes.
A lot of egg dishes, but what about cereal? Like what's your go-to cereal? Do you like cereal or
cereal.
You're not a cereal fan?
Milk first, cereal first. We got a whole bunch of...
If you are going to say milk first, we're ending this episode.
We have a whole bunch of discussions that can be had.
Gosh, milk first.
But I guess the first thing we should start with is, do you like eggs? Yes. I feel like that is a question that needs
makes
to be
you a
asked when it comes
breakfast
to
person
breakfast.
if you say yes.
If you don't
to
like eggs,
eggs,
I don't know if you can be. I could have eggs
vegans have
at
to eat
any
breakfast,
meal.
dude.
Okay, fair. That's why they have tofu scrambled. They're trying to create
There
eggs.
we go.
They're trying
tofu scrambled.
Trying to have eggs.
Makes sense.
But yeah, one of my brothers is not a big egg person.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's nice to have someone who likes eggs.
That's fair. How do you like your eggs?
It depends. I definitely change things up. I'm a big Over Easy fan.
Can never go wrong with dippy eggs.
Yeah, I do love me some Over Easy eggs with just some toast. That is definitely... Also, it's relatively quick.
Yeah.
That's another nice thing about eggs. They're very versatile, and they cook quick, which is nice.
It's true.
But I also am, I love a good scrambled egg as well. As a kid, it was like it had to be big curds and had to be like dry.
Oh,
Like, overcooked. Like, but now I do enjoy a moist, and sometimes the crazy thing about scrambled eggs is you can have so many different styles of just the same broad scrambled egg. You can have like the Gordon Ramsay, which is very high in fat and very rich, very small curd. You can kind of take it back a notch, have a smaller curd, but not as much butter. And then you could also have just a nice American style, big curds, but still be moist, or you can have big curds and it be dry. You can do the spiral egg, which is basically just scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
How about you?
I enjoy scrambled eggs from time to time, but it's not my usual go-to.
I think it's easier for a group.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like for Christmas, my grandparents will all get together and we'll have a big family kind of breakfast. And we make scrambled eggs for that because it's just...
Yeah, scrambled eggs is easy to make.
So easy, and you can make it all at once. But I can understand it not being the... It's also nice on like a sandwich, you know?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, too, like... Scrambled eggs is good and all, but yeah, I think my usual go-to, maybe this is like a pretentious or whatever it is, over medium.
Over medium. So you like a jammy yolk.
Well, like, yeah, so like I like the dippiness of an over easy egg, but then like, you know, if you don't have enough toast and the toast to egg, goopy egg ratio is off.
You're not wrong. And
that is a big factor for me.
Well, and the other issue is it's a lot easier to have a lot of uncooked white sometimes, which can be a little off-putting.
Yes, that's for sure.
So I can see that. I mean, I have over medium all the time just by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just overcook the eggs.
Exactly.
Like we said, they cook fast. They're easy to overcook.
See, if you do over medium, you get the best of both worlds because you got some dippiness, but then you can still eat all the egg.
I like to take when it's like over medium, where you can almost take it with your fork and like spread it.
Yeah.
Like a jam.
Heck yeah.
Like over your toast.
Yeah, it works. It works.
It's great.
You know? But yeah, definitely for eggs over medium.
Okay, so if you were to have a go-to breakfast, let's say time's no issue, you're not in a rush, you have all the ingredients, what are you making?
For me personally, it would be over medium eggs.
Okay.
White toast with butter on it.
Why does white toast taste better for breakfast?
I think it's because like...
Is it nostalgic? Is it...
I think partially nostalgic,
or is
but
it just because you don't need anything complex? It just is it's a vehicle for bringing the egg to your mouth.
It's about the egg, you know? You want to highlight the egg, in my opinion, okay? I'm not using 12 grain
like a nice piece of bread.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to the bakery and being like, hit me with this nice, beautiful sourdough loaf.
Yeah, where's my smoked barley sourdough for my eggs in the morning? No.
You're like, give me that white bread.
Yeah, give me the whitest bread, Italiano Wonder Plus crap.
Yep.
And just, that is ideal.
Diagonal cut, vertical cut, horizontal. It's for the serial killers.
So I don't cut my toast.
What? You don't cut your toast?
No, not if I'm cooking it myself, I will probably not cut my toast.
I'm a diagonal.
You're a diagonal.
I like the diagonal.
Oh,
cut.
This guy. If I'm eating a sandwich, then it's a cross. But like,
I think that's wrong.
Why is that wrong?
A cross? You cut horizontally?
Yeah.
So you don't have a symmetrical piece?
No.
Well, I guess technically diagonal's not symmetrical either.
It's close enough to symmetrical, but no.
But I mean, like, vertical is the other one that I can understand. You know, you have two of the exact same.
I don't understand the vertical.
You're cutting horizontal.
Yeah, I think how you cut a sandwich is based on how your parents cut a sandwich.
I've never seen anyone cut a horizontal sandwich.
What do you mean?
It's always been diagonal or vertical.
Who cuts a sandwich vertical?
People who obviously like symmetry.
So am I giving off serial killer vibes for how I cut my sandwiches?
Diagonal's fancy.
Yeah.
And then vertical is symmetrical. Those are the options.
Sorry, horizontal's not. Okay.
Let us know how you cut your toast. Do you cut your toast? I guess that's
how do you cut your toast? How do you cut your sandwiches?
Or you matter. You're just not cutting it.
Well, okay, because
so if you make a peanut butter sandwich, are you cutting it?
Yeah.
Okay, and how are you cutting it? Horizontal.
Horizontally.
I don't like this.
But if I'm using
dippy
like toast for dippy eggs,
you're using a whole piece?
Yeah.
You don't like having that flat side from the cut toast? It makes it easier. In my opinion.
You just dip and rip and good to go.
He might be a serial killer. Shit. This is odd behavior. It's just, anyways, continue. You're having your uncut toast with your over medium eggs.
With my over medium eggs with salt, pepper, and seasoned salt on it.
Okay, yeah.
Seasoned salt just tastes really good with eggs, in my opinion.
I mean, seasoned salt tastes good with a lot of things.
Anything, you know? And then probably bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Like crispy bacon on the side. Not too, like, I like a little bit of fat on the bacon.
Okay.
You know, a nice little crunch, but chewy.
Okay, so this is my hot take. Not a big bacon person.
Well, I'd also have breakfast sausage with me, too.
I'm just not a big bacon person overall. I like female bacon.
Oh, yeah, female bacon is just
but
top tier.
If I was to make my breakfast from scratch, I would have bacon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like my first thing I'm eating, and it's not my favorite thing on the plate.
Yeah.
It just feels like the plate's missing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes. Yeah.
I also am a bigger fan of rubbery bacon.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like it when you pick it up and has a little bit of flop.
Yeah. That's fair. I also have hash browns with me, though.
Okay, so I have this in my topic.
Thing. Okay.
How do you feel about a breakfast hash versus hash browns?
Breakfast hash over hash browns if I'm making it myself.
If you're making it yourself.
Yeah.
I don't need either, really, with my breakfast. I feel like if you have bread, I say this, but there's additional things that I'm used to having that are going to contradict this already as I'm saying it. But yeah, potatoes, maybe it's also because my go-to, if I was to make breakfast from scratch, had all this stuff, would also have a potato dish, but not, so I don't need the extra hash or the hash brown.
I guess.
Because for us, we have potato pancakes that might, or a lot of, like some European countries call them latkes.
Yep.
And so like we have that. My Oma will often bring those for Christmas. And
is your Irish grandma?
No, my Oma is my German grandma.
Okay.
And we'll have that with applesauce that she'll make.
Interesting. Okay.
And then on the Irish side, we have what we call tatey bread.
Ooh.
Which is basically just pretty much mashed potatoes that you add some egg flour and create kind of a dough, flatten it, and you just fry it in bacon fat. Then it's just like a flatbread. And it's, if you talk about something to dip your something in yolks, this is an MVP. Imagine just flattened potato bread, essentially a flatbread made out of potato, and you use that to soak up some egg.
Okay.
So that's why hash browns and like a hash does not make the cut for me. And then like you said, breakfast sausage has to be in there.
Yeah.
Links, not the flat.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Some people like the flat patties.
No. If I'm going out and I'll have that on a sandwich, like I'm going
to a sure, obviously it makes sense for a sandwich, but links all the way.
Oh, links all the way, 100% links. Like if I'm going for sausage too, like I want the maple ones.
Yeah, they're good.
Maple breakfast sausage, amazing.
All right, okay. I'm glad we're on the same page for our sausages.
Yeah, exactly. Thank goodness we have the same opinion about our sausages. Yeah, bacon, sausage, hash, then eggs. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, there's not too much.
Yeah, mine's pretty much exactly the same, honestly. I might have an over easy instead of the over medium, but
here's a controversial take, and I feel like ours are not going to be the same.
Yep.
Orange juice or apple juice for breakfast?
Orange juice, acidity. Apple juice is too sweet.
I think it depends.
I love apple juice, but it is very sweet. Not that orange juice isn't sweet, but the tang that you
pulp
get
or
from,
no pulp?
No pulp.
Okay.
But I'm an adult now, so if the option is there, I'll have orange juice with pulp. I just prefer it without.
Exactly. That's fair.
And coffee.
Yeah, coffee is just not tea. Never tea. Never tea in breakfast.
Yeah, no tea.
I think it depends. Like if I'm eating certain things, I think apple juice is like, I don't know, to me just apple juice is a breakfast.
I mean, it is. It definitely can be.
Yeah.
It's just that I find it too sweet.
That's fair.
If you get like an orange juice that doesn't have as much
like less sugar content, it's better.
Yeah. But because obviously a lot of the fruit juices in general are very sweet. But yeah, okay, so that's interesting. That's your we have very similar go-to plates.
Yeah, just
neither of us are like, oh
slightly
yes,
different.
I want a crepe that's like.
I want eggs Benedict.
I do like eggs Benedict.
That's the thing. Okay, so if I'm going to like
that's
a
more
breakfast
brunch, right?
place, yeah, I guess, yeah, it depends.
I mean, eggs Benedict is great. Hollandaise sauce is just
All the way.
it's very nice, very
Very nice.
But yeah, it's not my go-to. Another quick thing that I have is we'll have like English muffins, and I'll just make a fried egg.
Okay.
See, it looks good on the gram or in YouTube videos when people do an over easy or over medium egg as their sandwich, and then it's they cut into it and you see it, the yolk dripping. Great, yeah, looks great. Not very practical for eating though.
True.
Turns out that egg yolk all over your hands is messy. So usually I have more of a fried egg that the yolk is just cooked in.
Okay.
And then I'll just throw that on top of English muffin. If we've got the bacon or sausage, I'll do that with some cheese and some ketchup probably. The one thing I've left out of my go-to plate is I like to put a dollop of sriracha over the top of each yolk.
Okay.
And I mix it in when I'm start dipping. I mix the sriracha with the egg yolk.
I'm here for that. It's okay.
And then it's like, you got this nice sauce.
Some nice sauce.
But yeah, so we have similar plates, which is fair because we've gone obviously out for breakfast at somewhere like A&W where we've basically you get the plate.
Yeah, you get. Do they still do that?
Oh yeah.
Dang, I haven't been to A&W for breakfast, like sit down breakfast in a while.
So you can get. I think they have like the Canadian, which is basically everything we said.
Yeah. Do you what's your opinion on people get tomatoes as a side? Like it's
not a big tomato fan in general, but I'm not gonna lie, I have roasted some cherry tomatoes.
Okay.
For my breakfast with some whole mushrooms. Just roast them both in the pan and had them on the side with my over easy eggs. With toast.
Yeah.
And it's nice. The thing about nice roasted tomatoes is they get very sweet.
Yeah.
And they just burst. They're almost like another sauce to put on your toast.
Yeah.
Really, right? You can just pop it right on top of your toast with throwing some egg and boom.
Done deal.
It is delicious. A lot of work though.
Fair. So that's the eggs category.
Not a baked bean fan though.
Not a
so like a full English. I'm also not a big fan of the blood sausage or whatever.
Yeah.
Blood pudding.
Yeah, blood pudding. No thanks.
Yeah, that's a little much for me.
Yeah, no blood pudding. Baked beans, I got to be in a mood for. I mean, like when I go to a certain breakfast place, that's like one of the sides that kind of comes in the meal, so I'll get it with it.
Yeah.
Moving on. French toast, yay or nay?
I do love me some French toast. French toast is a yay. Preferably with a nice thick piece of brioche.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm here for that.
I definitely am a bigger fan of the thicker French toast than the pre-sliced whatever bread you get. Just one, you can obviously control it if you're cutting yourself, and two is it's much more custardy. Like it's a custard. That's what you're dipping your bread in. Is a custard. So I want to have a bit of more of a custardy texture to it when I'm eating. And a brioche is just MVP, like one of the MVPs of bread.
Yeah. You can't argue with that.
Like a slice of brioche, when you just eat it, you're like, this is delicious. And it's just bread. No, you don't even need to add anything.
That's how I feel about focaccia.
Yeah, focaccia is also up there, especially depending on what you use on it.
Yeah. Just eating
like
it
like a roasted garlic, roasted tomato.
Oh, whew.
You're just like,
delicious.
This doesn't feel like bread.
Oh gosh, I'm like the place I work at. We have a breakfast sandwich that's served on a focaccia.
There you go.
And it's like, oof. That's French toast. Pancakes or waffles?
You like French toast though?
Oh frick yeah.
Whipped cream, maple syrup,
maple syrup question.
fresh berries.
Fresh berry, friggin'
Oh yeah,
bananas.
What's your opinion on
real maple syrup or fake maple syrup?
On both. So there's the people that use like the very non-viscous or a very viscous. I don't know. There's like the one that's basically water.
Here's the real question. Does your maple syrup come from a plastic bottle or a glass bottle? Because that is the deciding factor here.
Not true, because there are maple syrups in plastic bottles nowadays.
That's legitimate maple syrup?
Yep.
Interesting. To me, it's just that's always how it.
I mean, we have both. We have a glass bottle one and a plastic one upstairs right now that are both maple, like proper maple syrup. But there's also the colored corn syrup.
Yep.
Which I can understand people having in their house for different baking needs. But you don't put that on your pancakes, waffles, or French toast.
No.
And then there's the stuff that's basically just sugar water that's colored brown. Which is
Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, which is definitely a no.
Okay.
It's got to be, I mean, for people listening outside of Canada, we are Canadian. We are passionate about our syrup.
Our maple syrup.
And it's got to be real maple syrup. That's the first thing, obviously. It's got to be legit maple syrup. And I do like some fresh berries on my French toast.
Yeah, I would go with fresh berries, even a nice sliced banana.
Banana's nice. Not usually go-to on my French toast, but I can see it. I mean, French toast reminds me, even though it's nowhere near the same, I feel it's like a crepe.
Yeah.
You basically anything you do to crepe, people do to French toast, you know? Nutella and a banana.
That's true, actually, yeah.
Nutella and banana, sure.
Same thing, why not?
Whipped cream, some berries, sure, why not?
Easy peasy.
Just some maple, something simple like just maple syrup and powdered sugar or something. People do it.
It's true.
Waffles, pancakes. This is a tough one.
Homemade pancakes, store-bought waffles.
Weird. I'm just waffles, mostly because texture. Like a waffle is a pancake. Is that just a hot textured take?
No, it's like Lay's versus Ruffles plain chips. You know,
like it's
one's
just
ruffled, one's not.
It's got a nice texture if cooked well, done right. You know, you got some nice crispy parts of the waffle, and there's just nooks and crannies for your maple syrup or whatever you
nice
made.
Butter.
Like this week, I made a peaches with blueberry, kind of like a rum caramel.
Okay.
It was like a sauce I made with all that, and I had that on French toast.
Not bad.
With a dollop of whipped cream. It was
pretty darn good. Sounds like
it was really, really good. And you know, in a waffle, there's a nice lot of holes, like, you know, nooks for all that to go
fill
into.
It up.
As a kid, with the frozen Eggo waffles, I would put syrup in, and then I would just like tilt it and have it like go down.
Pour into the next one. Yeah, nice little waterfall of syrup. Yeah.
Yep. And now I just eat waffles like if I have frozen waffles, it's because I need something quick, and I'll literally grab it and go.
Yeah. Eat it by itself.
And my girlfriend hates it. She finds it very disturbing that I just eat I could eat a plain Eggo waffle from the toaster with nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't taste that bad though. I mean, it's pretty good. They're easy enough to go.
Well, sometimes, you know, if you have a cinnamon one,
a blueberry one, even
exactly.
like you don't need the flavor if you're in a
got
rush,
flavor.
You know?
But yeah, I'm definitely waffles as my go-to. Pancakes I do like. I like a banana pancake.
Oh yeah, banana pancakes are there. Chocolate chip pancakes.
Banana chocolate chip pancake.
Banana, the double one.
That's definitely, I would prefer that over a regular pancake. But probably waffles most of the time over a pancake. Unless it's a potato pancake.
Then that's a whole
Then get me some applesauce and we're good to go. But yeah, that's definitely a hot debate. We sound like we're very much on the same line.
Yeah, we're overly So what else we got for breakfast? Cereal.
Milk or cereal first?
Cereal first, like, right, Connor?
That is correct.
Okay, don't.
But my girlfriend doesn't do it that way. Yep, she does now. She's seen the error of her ways. After I called her out for it, and have literally anytime this conversation comes up, I mention it, and now her response is, "No, I don't do it like that anymore."
Why are you doing it like that in the first place?
How do you know how much milk you need?
You don't.
She also likes to add sugar to her cereal.
Okay, the only exception to that is Rice Krispies.
Yeah,
outside
or
of
like
that,
Special K, like the one that's just Rice Krispies, but it's Special K.
Oh yeah.
You don't add sugar to any other cereal that has sugar.
That's just implying you don't like milk and you just need that leftover sugar to drink the milk that's left over after the cereal.
Exactly. And probably because you're adding too much milk because you didn't do cereal
exactly.
first.
Get your stuff together, kids.
Okay, but cereal.
Okay.
What's your go-to? Okay, well, what was your go-to as a kid and what's your go-to now?
Go-to as a kid, Rice Krispies and Corn Pops.
Corn Pops are pretty good. We always had a mix
of
different cereals, me and my brothers. There was always Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yep.
Which is, I feel like that's a staple.
Staple.
Rice Krispies, another staple. And then from there it'd be like, what's the other one for the week, 2 weeks it was there?
Yeah.
Honeycomb
Yep. Also a solid one from my childhood.
Yeah, that's a good one. We'd had a lot of the corn puffs. Lucky Charms.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like most of the time that was kind of what we had. Every now and then we'd have like the Nesquik
Yeah.
and Count Chocula. That one, underrated.
Underrated. Only comes around Halloween time these days.
Unreal. And then my favorite cereal as a kid,
Captain Crunch.
French Toast Crunch.
Okay.
Basically pure sugar.
Yeah.
But delicious.
Okay.
Obviously, right up there is Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but French Toast
Yeah.
Crunch, I was like...
Are you a fan of Frosted Flakes at all?
Frosted Flakes are so meh.
Tony the Tiger.
They're so mid.
But I hear they're great.
The Frosted doesn't add enough to the flakes. You know? I'd rather
The flake to frosted ratio is just not there.
I'd rather just have regular cornflakes and use cornflakes as like a breading for something.
That's true. I think...
But cereal now, I don't have nearly as often.
Yep, same.
I'm a big fan of Honey Bunches of Oats.
Oh, man, we're old.
Why? What's wrong? That's a good
This
cereal.
sounds like an older cereal.
That's not like I'm saying Raisin Bran. I don't like raisins, so that would...
fair.
Doesn't matter how many scoops you put of raisins in, I'm not eating it. Yeah, and probably Honey Nut Cheerios or something.
That's fair.
Or Apple Jacks, maybe, and change it up.
Ooh, Apple Jacks. I've never had the Apple Jacks.
Like add in some cinnamon, you know, a little bit of zing. But yeah, usually it's just that would probably be my go-to, Honey Bunches of Oats, the one with almonds.
Yeah,
I think it's good. Or I do like a nice granola of some sorts. There are all different types of granolas you can get. And I just have it with plain yogurt.
Oh, so yogurt parfait kind of style.
Yeah, just like yogurt. If we have some berries, throw that in, good to go.
So, my favorite cereal, 2 scoops. I actually really like it. 2 scoops.
Like raisin. So you are old.
I am old. I am 2 scoops Raisin Bran. Best. That's my go-to
So
cereal.
you like raisins.
Yeah, I like raisins.
Unironically like raisins.
Yeah, I just think it's a good cereal. Followed by.
But what is your belief of raisins and cookies? Needed?
Oh, terrible!
Like
I don't like that.
you're like, why are you putting raisins?
Why are you making an oatmeal raisin cookie? You make an oatmeal cookie.
Or like butter tarts with raisins?
Butter tarts with raisins, I don't mind. I'd prefer them without it,
Raisins
but I
just
still
ruin
gonna
everything
eat
for me.
it.
I'm just like, why are you here?
Yeah, what they ruined
you
Halloween for you too, growing up,
yeah,
when you get
literally.
little boxes of
Your
raisins.
little shriveled up things.
Yeah.
I don't need you.
Get out of my life. I liked you when you were a grape.
I like some dried fruits, just not grapes. I don't like raisins.
You don't like the dried grapes.
Like a dried apricot, fire.
Solid. Dried mango, top tier.
Exactly. I even like craisins. I just don't like raisins.
Anyways, yeah, 2 scoops, great cereal. That's my go-to cereal. Probably followed by the Special K with the dried strawberries in it.
I'm not a big fan of the freeze-dried strawberries.
No?
No. But I can see why. The Special K cereal is nice, like the flakes.
Yeah.
I've had the vanilla flaked one with basically...
The almonds one?
Basically, Honey Bunches of Oats, but
Yeah,
Special
just
K.
Special K version, yeah. Those
It's
are
solid.
good ones, yeah.
do they put less cereal in cereal boxes now, by the way?
Oh, they definitely do, dude.
Feels so
Inflation rates, man.
It's so tiny.
Inflation rates. I often think about going back to like some of the childhood like cereals, but I know like if I go back to
Lucky Charms or something.
Lucky Charms or the Captain Crunch, I know it's not going to be as good.
There's that Magic Spoon. Have you seen that? Where it's
No.
like it's basically rip off of childhood cereals, but
Okay.
like no sugar, and it has fiber, has like whatever amounts of protein and fiber and blah blah blah. Basically, it's like child cereal for quotations adults.
Whatever.
Maybe we'll try it.
Maybe.
Pretty sure you can
that's-
pick it up at the store.
Oh,
So
then we're fine then. Yeah, well, we can try it. I think something that I miss from our childhood that's not anymore, and maybe this is just us growing up, is the jingles of the cereal commercials.
yeah, I was actually just singing a recent jingle, not of a cereal, but of Tim Hortons. The
Okay.
Always Fresh.
Yeah. Always fresh.
Definitely not factual anymore.
We.
What is even the saying now for Tim Hortons?
I don't know.
Something bad.
But you remember like the weird like animation for Rice Krispies and like the singing
Yeah.
pops? Who will sing up next? It's like Snap Crackle Pop.
Snap, Crackle, Pop.
They're Tony the Tiger even. They're
I remember
great.
seeing every now like when you like don't see ads anymore, and then you'll see an ad and you'll be like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
Tony the Tiger's changed a lot," because now it's just like a massive CGI.
Yeah. Well, it's even like Barney's like a weird CGI character now too, right?
But yeah, breakfast cereal is not my go-to. It's definitely a I don't have anything and I need this. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
But this is more of a nostalgia thing. But a big thing we had a lot when we were like sick, or our mom would make if there was like time on like a Saturday or Sunday, was cream of wheat.
Okay.
I think some people call it like hot cereal, I believe. But basically it's just wheat and like milk, and you just slowly kind of like ends up looking close to a porridge situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, that with like some brown sugar.
Oatmeal?
Oatmeal, I've had oatmeal is like always a hot and cold. Like sometimes I'd be eating oatmeal a lot, and I'm like, no, I'm done with oatmeal. And then oatmeal a lot. But now I have a lot of overnight oats.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a lot easier for me to just be like, okay, I'm gonna make 4 jars of overnight oats and I'll have those over the week for breakfast. And you can do whatever you want with them. And you know, I add like chia seeds and berries or apples, like apple and cinnamon, with some plain Greek yogurt. So it's got a lot of, you know, protein, fiber. It's very filling as well. But regular oatmeal, it was always like pretty far down the list.
Okay.
Another thing that was just on the quicker side, because I just throw it in the microwave. Because I would just use like the Quaker Oats packets.
Yeah, hot water and throw a packet.
Well, no, I would use milk.
What?
Yeah, I would use milk with the oatmeal.
Interesting.
Yeah, I never used water.
I've never had it with milk.
It's better with milk, in my opinion.
I don't know about that.
It is better. What does water add and what does milk add?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I've never had it with milk. That might just be a whole different ballgame.
But so what you're saying is you never had cream of wheat.
No.
Okay. We'll have it one time when you're over, so you can try it. But you have to like, it's one of those dishes where you're constantly stirring. The heat's on low because you don't want the milk to burn or curdle, and you pour in the wheat and you just stir it until all of a sudden it's like thicker. Mm-hmm. But my mom, her thing was always you had to keep stirring so there's no lumps. But I always loved lumps. Like I liked getting lumps of it. But yeah, you would just put just a bit of brown sugar sprinkled on top of it, and that's how you would eat it. And it definitely isn't for everyone. And looking at it, it kind of looks like baby-esque food. But it was delish, not going to lie. And a very nice hot bowl of it, you know, when you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Hit the spot. And so drop a comment in the Discord if you know what I'm talking about. But what else do we have for hot takes? So far we're pretty similar in a lot of the ways. None of us
the oatmeal.
Yeah, none of us putting milk first.
Yeah,
but one of us using milk and oatmeal, and one of us using water.
It's weird. What's your I usually go for like apple cinnamon oatmeal.
Yeah, apple cinnamon's good.
The maple brown sugar.
The maple brown sugar is my go-to.
Nice. Was never a fan of the mixed berries one.
No, plain ones. Like you may as well just make your own oatmeal from
you're gonna have to do seasoning anyways, like flavor.
Like you just make your own oatmeal from scratch. What's the point of having at least for the packets? If you're doing like a quick one, like why? Who's having plain oatmeal?
Yeah, old people.
Let's face it, and it's not the nicest thing to look at.
No, it's too. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. Just no thanks.
It's not the most appetizing thing to look at. And as a kid, I don't know if you can relate, but it'd be like throw it in the microwave for whatever it is. A minute 30, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you're not paying attention and it starts like the whole thing starts blowing up like high and you're like, oh, there's been many. No?
No, because I boil the water in a pot or like a kettle.
You never use the microwave.
No.
Okay.
Not to make oatmeal.
Oh, I use the microwave. Microwave as a kid, best friend, dude. That thing is lightning quick on things. And, sometimes it would boil over. Like it would just the amount of times I'd have to clean the microwave plate because it's just this gloopy oatmeal on it. Yeah.
Yikes. No, thank you.
Yeah. What's your go-to beverage for breakfast though? Like coffee? Like are you just having?
I'll probably just have if I'm at home and I have time, I'll probably make and I have it in my fridge, like apple juice.
Okay.
Coffee wise, I mean, if I'm like taking the time to prepare my coffee, then
let's say you have time,
like
you're not in a rush. Are you?
Oh, then I'll do a pour over.
You're doing a pour over?
Yeah, nice simple pour over.
I'm having a latte.
Nice,
Iced latte.
Yeah. You're bougie because you got your machines and stuff.
Yes, I do have the espresso machine, but yeah, I'm having an iced latte. That's what I have every day.
Dang,
And
okay.
Nowadays, so I have like morning meetings, and to make sure that I'm not reliant on the caffeine, like I still need it, but I don't desperately need it to wake up. I usually will do all my morning meetings, and I'll have it after that. So usually I'm awake for 3 hours.
Well, they also say not to have caffeine when you first wake up. Like,
yeah, but a lot of people do that.
I know that. I'm just saying. Like,
so basically I'm awake for probably 3-ish hours, and then I make my coffee, and then I'm not a I'm sure you've noticed, but I'm not a downer of the caffeine. I'm like definitely.
No, you sip it. You enjoy the caffeine.
Yeah, I'm just throughout the day. So my coffee will last me a good couple hours, and I just take it as I go. And
I think you enjoy the flavor of coffee. I think that's the big thing, because I feel like people that down caffeine.
Well, I enjoy both because I obviously like sugary stuff too. So
Yeah.
there's times where I'll make. This is the cool thing about if you have your own espresso machine is you can buy syrups and you can do whatever you want. So some days I'll make myself a shaken brown sugar espresso.
Yeah.
And some days I'll have a nice vanilla latte. Sometimes I'll just have an iced latte. And sometimes I'll have a maple cinnamon with a little bit of maple syrup and some cinnamon. It becomes endless. And I definitely like all of those in their own right. But yeah, nothing beats a well-made coffee in terms of an espresso. I'm not big on pour overs and stuff, mostly because I don't drink hot coffee. I prefer cold coffee.
Iced coffee, yeah.
So I'll make my own cold brew.
Okay.
But I usually don't even use that great of a coffee for it, to be honest. I'll usually use whatever, because I find that cold brew does take a lot of the sting out of even bad coffee. A lot of the bitterness is taken out.
I think it depends on the beans.
It's true. But espresso is definitely something you can notice when you have a good coffee, something that's been roasted that month, and if it's dialed in well. But yeah, right now it's pretty lazy. We just have some not the best. So usually I have a iced vanilla latte. But for example, I went to Matt's work, who
banger place
every morning dialing in their shots.
Espresso.
They have a different coffee, every month, you said?
It depends on how it sells. So, like, for example, like the future espresso that we had is only last us 2.5 weeks. Now we're switching it in like 2 days because we have less than a bag left.
But yeah, I had just a plain hot milk with the espresso.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to add anything. It was perfect the way it was. The milk sweetness is enough, which is, if you were to just have milk by itself, I think it's fair to say you don't really recognize that it's sweet.
Yeah.
But when you have it with a really well done shot of espresso, it does add that little bit that maybe that espresso needs.
It complements it, really.
It really does. Both texturally, obviously, with the textured milk.
Texturally, mouthfeel, and like the flavor itself, like it highlights different aspects of the espresso that you might not see on your, like by drinking the espresso by itself or drinking the milk by itself, right? Like it.
Without sounding, too pretentious.
It's not a coffee podcast, but
if it were. But yeah, definitely, yeah, mine is but that's obviously, like you said, I have the ability to make myself an iced latte, so that's what I'm having. If I didn't have the espresso machine, I would probably just have cold brew. I would just make like a big batch of cold brew, probably for the week.
Okay. How do you make your cold brew? Do you use a French press for it? Or?
We have a some sort of immersion, like the one where you just has the little filter that goes in the middle, kind of like a tea steeper. And you grind the beans. You put the beans in the metal filter. The metal filter goes right in the middle of the water.
Okay.
And you can just leave it out. It's like a pitcher. It has a big metal for it.
Okay.
So it just steeps, and just leave it out for a day. Then I'll take out the little steeper and then put it in the fridge.
That's fair.
And it depends. Sometimes I'll make a more concentrated brew, and then that way I can just do the part of the cold brew with water.
Okay.
And then That way I can spread that brew that I made over the week. Or sometimes it even makes not to the same level, but it can hold up to if you make a really strong cold brew concentrate, it can hold up to making like a latte. Air quotes here.
Yeah. To an extent.
Because the coffee will still come through all the milk. But yeah, any other breakfast items? What are your feelings about like crepes?
I mean, crepes. Crepes
give you the craps?
Sometimes. That's bougie.
Well, we have a couple bougie breakfast places around here, and every time, I haven't been recently, but when I go, even when I look at it, the menu, and I see crepes, I'm just like, do I want to spend this money on a crepe?
No, you don't. You don't.
So I don't. That's what I don't. I do like them though.
Yeah, crepes are good in retrospect.
Like I do enjoy a crepe with whipped cream and some berries or Nutella and banana, whatever.
Yeah.
It's nice. But if I'm going to, for example, like a Cora's or something, which is very expensive, to be fair. Like I wouldn't recommend going to a Cora's.
No.
But I'm probably getting one of the breakfast items that has all the breakfast we just said with a pile of fruit.
Yeah.
Over
a crepe.
Yeah, 100%. Some stuffed crepes.
100%.
It's just,
bang for your buck. That's what it is when it comes to breakfast, Because breakfast
That's why A&W is so good.
A&W is so good. Even like if you go to like local breakfast places, you pay like $8.99, $9.99, you get a full breakfast meal. And you're like, this is it.
This is a nice breakfast.
Exactly.
I have everything I want.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. Glad we had this discussion. Not a big fan of your horizontal bread cutting.
We're not gonna let it go.
We're gonna have to ask. We're gonna have to ask on the Discord.
How do you guys
or on
slice
our
your bread?
What's the right way to slice your bread? Are you slicing wrong? Is there a wrong way to slice your bread?
Apparently so.
Why is horizontal not the way?
I don't know.
I guess I don't even know. I mean, I guess I could see it. Like you make your sandwich, or whatever, and the bread's right there in front of you, and you just pull across. I can see. That's the quickest way probably. But I don't know. Seems really wrong to me. Also, I don't know if you have the same feeling, but why do finger sandwiches taste better than regular sandwiches?
It's because there's no crust on them.
But also,
it's just tiny, and you're like,
this
is so cute and delicate, and you're like,
there's something about it being
I
smaller,
am higher class.
It's smaller that makes it taste better.
That's fair.
I don't know why.
It's finger food, man. Finger food always tastes better.
Because you can make that same sandwich. And if I cut the crust off and I cut it into like 4s and give it to you, you're going to be like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But if I had to cut it horizontally for you and then give it to you,
why is it got to be horizontal?
You're going to be like, this is just
mediocre.
This is not the same sandwich. No. One last topic for breakfast. What type of, I assume you like cheese maybe on your eggs if you have like a breakfast sandwich or something?
Not often.
No, not a big cheese fan?
I'll get a cheese and egg, but if it's not there, I'm not going to complain.
That's fair.
What about you? What's your cheesy egg take?
Well, usually it's whatever's in the house.
Yeah.
Is the big thing. But I do like a nice sharp cheddar.
Okay.
Like an aged cheddar.
Yeah.
But you just have to obviously be careful with melting an aged cheddar because it can break and be oily.
It's old,
Yeah. But we never have like American, like a single slice or anything. So, which sometimes is nice. I mean, there ain't many cheeses that just melt like that on top of that, like blanket it, perfectly.
Blanket cheese.
It's blankets and
so
melts
then
perfectly.
Omelets?
Omelets? I do love me an omelet. That is actually a big one we didn't talk about.
Yeah, I know. I realized that. I was like, because as soon as you said cheese, I was like, well, I mean, I get cheese with the
omelet. For omelet, one, do you like an American style omelet or like a French omelet? I find a French omelet, I've never ordered a French omelet at a restaurant. I've made it for myself before. I find it way too much work in terms of you having to pay attention to how much you've cooked it. And
American omelet.
And they're rolling it. And I'm just you know what? I'm okay with some brown.
Flop that thing over and call it a day. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Some brown? Okay. Exactly. Nice color, flavor.
My go-to cheese for a omelet though
goat cheese
is just shredded cheese, like a bag of shredded cheese, like a
not shredding it yourself.
I mean, if I have time, but if I have a bag of shredded cheese,
like I'll like a marble or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no goat cheese.
Goat cheese on your omelet, eh?
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
goat cheese. I'm a big fan of like goat cheese, spinach, mushroom. If we have it, omelets are great tools for leftovers. So if you have
100%.
leftover chicken or something, so
You have a taco night, you're having omelets the next couple days.
So I'll do like the chicken, mushrooms, spinach together.
Yeah.
Then I'll mix it with the goat's cheese.
Yeah,
And,
okay,
like, the heat of the residual heat of that will help melt the goat cheese to make it more ploppy. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I'll dollop
More
that
spread out.
Yeah, I'll dollop that around the omelet, and then maybe a sprinkle of grated cheese on top
Nice.
in it as well, and then fold it.
Nice. I'm here for that.
Yeah, goat cheese is underrated.
I agree. It is underrated.
It is tart. Oh, they got that a little bit, but it's a welcome.
It's good on salads.
Oh, it's unreal in salads. Like a spinach or arugula salad with some goat's cheese, some sort of fruit. So whether that's a pear, an apple,
strawberry,
and then you throw in some sort of nut for crunch.
Walnuts always.
Especially if you're feeling crazy, you candy the nut.
Yeah.
And then you can have it with some sort of sweet or fruity vinaigrette. Yeah, that's pretty fire.
Then you get pretty snazzy.
That is, and then you just throw on some grilled chicken.
And you're
Some
good to go.
And there's a meal. But yeah, that's
That's
our
the breakfast episode.
Which leaves us lunch and dinner still.
Lunch and dinner and dessert.
And brunch.
And brunch. And early dinner, late lunch.
What are we, hobbits?
I don't know, man. Just potatoes.
But yeah, let us know what your favorite breakfast items are. Milk first, cereal first.
How we know slice your bread.
So we know who's safe in our
in the Discord.
Who could be trusted and not. And once again, we watched Bochi the Rock. Gave it a solid 9 out of 10, both of us. Definitely would recommend if you guys are interested in seeing something, especially if you have some sort of social anxiety yourself and you want to be able to see that in media and a character portrayed in a really proper way. I think you should check it out. I think it could also maybe help yourself, feel like you're not alone. If there's someone creating an anime about it, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
There is enough people who are just like you out there. And, and if you're a big social person, talk to the person who is quiet. Maybe they're just too scared to talk to anyone. That's a big thing. One last thing before we close out is in college I wore like my Cloud9, which is an esports hoodie, esports org that I wore, like the hoodie, and I would wear like my Sabres hat, and I'd have anime wallpapers on my computer. And that's how I actually became friends with one of my friends, is because I wasn't going to go talk to anyone, but he noticed that I had 3 things that he was into.
Yep.
And he was like, hey, he's like, hey, I like Naruto. And then he was like, and I saw that you wore a Cloud9 like jersey, like what video game are you interested in? And then the Sabres, and he's like, oh, I like hockey and blah, blah. And now we're friends. We're still friends. I don't know how many years it's been now. That's usually
been on the podcast.
He's been on the podcast. Dan number 2.
Dan number 2.
I can't remember what we talked about.
Star Wars.
That makes sense for Dan.
Yeah.
He's a big Star Wars fan. But yeah, he's the one who saw all the stuff that I was wearing, which is funny because in an episode of Bochi, she's like, I have all of this merch, this band merch. Hopefully someone will talk to me. And she's like walking. She's like, talk to me.
Please. And
so
no one does.
I wasn't going out of my way to do that.
Yeah.
But Dan was a lot more social and saw those things. And that's, if you're a person like that sees someone who has interest, sometimes just talk to the person. You might have a friend for life, a friend for the time you're at whatever school.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth, sometimes the quiet kids, they're not just, they're not serial killers. Sometimes they're just
good people.
Sometimes they're just too scared to talk to someone, and you can really make their day or change both your lives.
That's true. You never know.
And with that, we friendly reminder that we will be watching Heavenly Delusion this month for February. So feel free to join in with us. Follow us on all our social medias. We'll keep you updated. That's in the link tree down below. Join the Discord to converse with all of the fellow nerdy misfits.
And also, we're also on different anime websites. So if you want to keep track of the other animes and stuff that we're watching, let us know if you're on my anime list
or Annie list.
Annie list. How do you keep track of your anime or manga if you're reading or watch anything?
Yeah, you make your own spreadsheet.
Do you make your own spreadsheet? Let us know, because then we'll give you a follow.
Yeah, for sure.
Help it grow. But until then, thanks for listening, and we will see you next week where we chat about What If and Echo.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Bye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you. And see you next week.